Welcome to my first video tutorial. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to turn out, but hopefully it will go well. I'm going to start off this first one using a program called Pixlr.com. You can get to it. Up here you can see it's just pixlr.com /editor/. And what this is it's a photo editor online, so you don't have to load any program onto your computer. You do it all through online, and it has a lot of similarities to Photoshop without the expense of Photoshop. If you have Photoshop already on your program and are somewhat familiar with it, I totally suggest going that route for scrapping, or even Photoshop Elements, which is a cheaper version of Photoshop with just little parts of it. But if you don't have access to any of these other programs and money is kind of tight and you're not sure if this is what you really want to invest time or money into, then this is a great option. Like I said, it doesn't download anything to your computer, so it's a great place to start. The first thing you do when you click it up, it will show this little menu of create a new image. That's what we're going to click on today. And the standard size to get a 12 by 12 printed out version will be 36 by 3600, 3600 by 3600. Each inch is basically 300 pixels. So that's why you do the math. Multiply 3 times the 300 times the 12, and you get 3600. And so here they're referring to pixels. You will want to click this transparent so that you don't get a white background but a transparent background, and then click OK. And here it will pull up our screen. From here you can pull in papers and elements to create your page, but this is how you get started with that. Now the next thing, I want to keep this short, so I'm not going to talk about a lot of different things today. There are many things I can show you, and over the coming weeks I will do that. But just to get you started, often in the digital scrapbook world, we use papers. You buy kits that will have papers and elements on them. Papers are JPEGs, so that's kind of like the same format as your photos. It has none of this transparency around it. It would just be a document that was what that document was. It doesn't have any border or any outside part to it, if that makes sense. So just think of it as kind of a piece of paper. And so you would, to pull one up into this screen, you would go over to Layer and Open Image as Layer. And then here I've already got pulled up a kit from one of my friends, Angie, who's a designer, and I love her stuff. She designs under Down This Road Designs, and I went to her paper folder. A lot of times designers will have it labeled as paper 1, paper 2. So you click on one of those, and you can see here she's got them labeled, her design name, the name of her kit, and then a paper number. So I'm just going to pull one of these out. Perhaps earlier I would have had a chance to kind of look at it to see what it is I want to pull up. So here it is. It may not be the one I want to work on. So you can kind of a little trial and error to pick out which paper you want. But for today we're just going to keep this paper here. Now, as I mentioned, that's a JPEG file. The difference from that, and you see it filled in all of where the transparency was. If we go to Layer again, and we do Open Image as Layer, but we go up to her Elements file, and let's say we want to pull in a bird. So we open that up. Notice that the bird is, all you see is the bird. This is saved as a PNG, which means that it has the transparency around it so that it doesn't fill in the whole entire square. So then from that we can click on this tool over here that is kind of your mover tool, and you can move it wherever you want it to on your layout. And so those are kind of the two main formats you will deal with in scrapbooking. Either a JPEG, which is the whole piece, like the whole piece of paper, and really JPEG is only for papers and for photographs. everything else, all of the other elements will come in a PNG format. Um, One last thing that I want to, and so basically you would pull these on, and if you notice over on this side, here we've got the navigator, so you get just a small version of the paper you're working on. And then this is your layer palette, as we call it, and this shows the different layers. Here is that original layer, and you can click on these to take them away. And here we are. Here we have the original layer we started with. And then we added the paper, and so that's a separate layer. And then we added the bird, and that's a separate layer. This becomes really important if you want to move things around. For example, had we loaded the bird first and then put the paper on top and couldn't see the bird and we wanted to switch them around, you switch it through the layer section. So you just move the paper over. Now because this bottom layer really was just our beginning layer and we're not using it for anything, you can right click on this layer 1 and choose merge down, and that just merges the bottom 2 layers. If you merge visible, it merges all of it, and I don't suggest you do use that option until the very end when you're getting ready to save. So from there you can pull in your photos, you can pull in any other parts of a kit, and speaking of a kit, if you can also, if you notice that these are little folders that I have saved here, or some I've renamed or saved like this, they came in a format that was zipped. If I right click on it and send it to compressed, it will zip up the folder, and you'll see it here in just a second. Anyway, when you it'll pop up here, but while it's waiting for that, when you purchase a kit, everything will come as a zipped file. So you're going to need to unzip it once you've downloaded it to your computer. You're going to want to unzip it so you can get to the things inside. And even though I'm not sure why it's not doing it right now or showing it to us, but the way you unzip it, and maybe it might be you need to go through your start menu to your documents and find again, and I have everything organized under digital scrapbooking by the different designers and then their kits. So here we can see the zipped up kit that we zipped in the other screen. So what you would do to unzip this is right click on it and extract all, and then extract. And this is telling me that there's already one there, so it's just going to replace it, which is fine. And so that's our first tutorial for this week, just to get a few things started. My suggestion would be to there are free kits you can find out there. I have one on my blog from New Year's Day if you want to take a look at it. Open it up, play around with it, get used to it, and in 2 weeks, because next week I will be doing a Photoshop tutorial for those that are more advanced and those that have Photoshop and Photoshop elements to work with. But in 2 weeks I will be back to give more tips on how to use my templates in this program and things like shadowing, all sorts of things to make it all more realistic. Thanks so much, and we'll see you later.